Hi, Greg Weldon here, and thanks so much for participating in our Futures Trading Bootcamp, and welcome. I appreciate your patronage, but I really honestly am excited about this because kind of investigating the potential to do this, to put this together, it was an outcropping of demand and questions, and I decided, why don't I put together a video on this? Then I looked at what's out there in terms of the market for kind of how-to and trading courses, this kind of stuff, and honestly, I think we got great value here because I don't think there's much out there that's going to give you the depth that I'm going to give you here, that's going to give you the experience that I want to give you. And you're going to get my all. I hold nothing back. Like I say down here at the end, you're going to get everything. I'm giving you everything that I know and everything that I do, and right down to my own risk profile application. It starts at the top, all right? The futures markets. Why trade the futures? I have been a proponent for futures. I've been doing this 35 years and always a proponent of the futures to the degree that why not be in the futures? You're giving yourself such a disadvantage if you don't have a futures account. Assuming you can afford one, get to part two, but what's your account size? What's your leverage? What can you afford to do? Because, the wrap on futures is you can lose more than you put in, and that's true if you're trading $5,000 and buying 5 contracts of gold. It's destined to fail, all right? But the math is simple. And the demand, in terms of the demand on investors to be more nimble, to be more flexible, long, short, to have a wider range of market types that they can participate in other than just equities, and to be passively invested in equities, that's fine, but not for your entire portfolio. If you have a serious portfolio, you need to be trading futures to some degree, I believe, because you just have such greater opportunity for success. All right, so we show you the how-tos of the account, brokers, online. The size of the account is important. All right, what markets to trade? How what kind of orders are there? How do you execute them? All right, what are the contract ones? What are the symbols? All these things that we've gotten so many questions about. But really, then getting more important in terms of the nitty-gritty is developing a methodology. Are you going to be fundamental, technical, quant? What is the psychology around, following your methodology? Because that's huge. You can be given the keys to the palace, but if you don't have the discipline to use the keys as they should be used, you're still going to fail. What are the landmines? What are the mistakes? What are the mistakes that you're going to make? What are the mistakes that I've made and still make? Again, the psychology is a big, big component of all of this. But the nitty-gritty, the real, crux of the matter here is account management. It is mathematical overlay on everything. And that's not to say it's quant, but the account management in terms of the risk has to be quant. And I give you the quant. I'm going to give you quant that you can use, and you can plug in your own numbers, your own risk. Everyone's goals are different. Everyone's risk tolerance is different. Everyone's bank account size and brokerage account size is different. So in the Weldon Live, we have Trade Lab, which is our specific trades, but I can't, guide people in terms of how many contracts to buy, and then how much should I risk per trade? Well, what I can give you is my overlay, and then you plug in your own numbers, and I'm telling you, you're going to love this tool, all right? It was in one of the Weldon Lives, and it just generated a stir. It's part of why I did this, all right? What's the leverage? What's your margin? What's your value of risk? What's the black swan event potential? The correlated risk. How do you manage the drawdowns? And when to press the advantage, all right? It's the poker analogy. I love the movie Rounders. Tight but aggressive. That applies beautifully to trading futures. Tight but aggressive. High probability trades, and then press your advantage, especially if it starts to work. Never add to a losing position, by the way. That's one of the tenets of the trades. Part 3 is more of that kind of thing. Surviving 35 years. I've been doing it since I was on the exchange floor when they were filming Trading Places back in 1983. For crying out loud. That's how long I've been doing this. I'm in my 35th year. Hard to believe, What are the truisms I can give you, all right? We're going to look at a wide variety of recent profits and losses. What was the thought process behind these trades going in? Did they work? Did they not work? If they didn't work, why not? Were there mistakes made? Was it a bad trade? I don't really look at anything as a bad trade if I would do it over again, given the circumstances that I faced when I initiated the trade. And that's usually an answer is no, it wasn't a bad trade. All right, it just didn't work. Again, it's kind of the baseball analogy. I mean, you can make $430 million. You can hit the ball 1 out of 3 times when at the plate in the major leagues. $430 million if you fail more than you succeed. So it's about the math. It's not so much do you get every trade right. It's what's your average winner? What's your average loser? What's the ratios? All these numbers you have to go into this. What are the war stories? My war stories, and I have a lot of them. I could probably do an hour on that alone. And then what are lessons from some of the Hall of Fame traders that I've known and worked with, had as clients, including those I have now, which is a pretty wide range of very recognizable names. And then in terms of part 4, this is where it really becomes different and exciting and interactive. All right, you will have, and I'm going to show you the calendar in a minute, but you'll have a Q&A conference call opportunity. Okay, doesn't matter how long it takes. We're going to give you multiple ways to present questions. We're going to see how we're exactly to manage this, but I am going to be available. I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm open to whatever it takes to make this the best experience it can be, and so you can get the most out of this. We then go live by cam, and that'll be also available afterwards, so you can always see it in a recorded fashion, but it will be live and interactive every day for 6 trading sessions. I will share exactly what I'm doing, my open positions and our own money management business. What are the trades we have? What am I doing? What are the positions? What are the trades of the day? What are my thoughts? How are things changing, evolving over those 6 sessions? I hold nothing back. And in terms of the bootcamp, people are buying it now, okay, and obviously you've purchased. The bootcamp videos are released the 5th. They're all released, the part 3 videos and PDFs, and it's about 170 pages as of right now, will be released on the 5th. Okay, so you will then have these days to read it, assess it, and the evening of the 10th we'll do a Q&A. So you can ask questions about the bootcamp. The next day we go live. We're live Thursday, Friday, then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday into the Good Friday holiday. And we will discuss, like I said, everything. I hold nothing back. There's total transparency. Here are my positions. Here's what I'm doing. Here's what I'm thinking. It's like Weldon Live for free for 6 days there. And then we come back to close it out the 29th and 30th, give it a week in between. How did our positions work? What are we doing now? What experiences have you had? And we'll close out the boot camp. Now, here's the extra thing we haven't mentioned. All right. So the price of $299 here. Okay. And even if you got an early bird special, all right, you're getting a double whammy special because you got the better price, and you'll have the entire $299 that is applicable to a test drive to Weldon Live, which is a 3-month subscription. So you can get what is a $750 value. Okay, for $450. And that will begin, on May 1st and run for 3 months. And that's our all-in institutional trader, and we're not here to upsell you this. I'm here to do the boot camp. But at the end of the day, you want to trade futures, all humility aside, and people that know me, I'm a very humble guy. But I don't think there's many people out there that do what we do as well as we do in terms of delivering, the macro information, dissecting the global dynamic, really making the calls going forward, and then trading all these markets and keeping on top of it as we go. So you would have that opportunity to get in at a really, really nice price for the fact that you took the boot camp to get in for a 3-month test drive, is what we call it. Normally $750 at a discounted price of $450. So look forward to the 5th, and I look forward to speaking to you on April 10th.